folks, and welcome back to Running Geek Girl. My name is Heather and I am glad you're here today because it's time for another monthly roundup. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the running content I have coming out all the time. And to get you caught up, the monthly roundups where I take a look at what's happened over the past month as far as training, races and medals, new gear, and a look at what's going to be coming up on the channel. So the way we always start things out here is by taking a look back at some of the highlights in training. So let's look at that now.
Hello guys, first week of August, and oh goodness, what a week it was. So I kind of took a little bit of a taper week. I took the beginning of the week just doing my regular schedule as it was, doing a tempo run and doing some intervals, and then just kind of real easy runs the rest of the week going into the weekend for the Death by 5K. So that was 10 5Ks over the course of 24 hours, which went really, really well. I do have to thank my coaches over at Vert.Run just for making sure that I was really ready for that. And indeed I was. That was such a fun race and I can't wait to try it again next year. I am getting ready for another race coming up this next weekend. And so in lieu of my regular training schedule, I am using the week to just do active recovery, a lot of walking and stretching to make sure that I am in shape for the race coming up. So even though my body kind of wants to run, I know in my mind I don't need to right now. I need to allow myself time to recover from doing 50K, and I just need to kind of take it easy. That will be the Scorch and Squirrel coming up on early Saturday morning, which is going to be probably just as difficult as 50K because even though it is only 11.5 miles, it is a lot more technical terrain and a lot more hills as opposed to the paved and flat trail that I had the last weekend. So looking forward to seeing how that is going. I am just feeling good overall with training. The weather is cooling down just ever so slightly. I like that my race is going to be early enough in the morning that it's going to be a nice comfortable temperature. So I've got that to look forward to. So I will catch up with you again after the race. See you then. And that is another week down, and whew, what a weekend, to be honest. On Friday, I did some walking and then ran a mile, a little bit more walking, ran a half a mile just to make sure that everything still felt good, and then called it good until Saturday. Ran the Scorch and Squirrel. That was 11.5 miles with about 2,400 feet of gain over the course, and I actually finished very well. I finished a lot stronger than last year, and don't get me wrong, my quads are completely thrashed right now, but I'm not just like all over hurt like I was last year. I do feel like you know, my quads are going to recover fairly quickly, and really nothing else is bothering me. So huge improvement over the course of 1 year just in running that same race. So definitely looking forward to doing that one again. In the meantime, I am spending this week, I've requested another easy week on my schedule so that I can give my quads a chance to recover. And so I'm doing some walking and some very easy runs. So that's the plan, and then trying to go back to regular training. I've got that half marathon that's coming up in November that I've got to train for. I am gonna get back to my walking and my light runs, and I will be back with you in a week. And we're back. It's been another week. I took a nice easy week last week to let myself recover from 2 weekends of hard racing, and I really needed it, and it really worked out well. I did a whole lot of just recovery walking and then eased into a nice easy 1 hour run for the weekend, and it's exactly what I needed because here I am in another week and I am ready to go. I am just finishing up an 1.5 hour easy run today. I'm going to do some speed exercises and a little bit of recovery, and maybe if the weather cooperates with me, I will be able to get back out on a trail this weekend. That would be wonderful, because that's something I've really been missing while things have been super hot and super busy. So I'm looking forward to possibly having that opportunity. But looking ahead at the race calendar, I'm really just gearing everything towards that half marathon in November, followed by another half marathon at the beginning of December. So I've got a couple of weeks recovery in between each one. So that's what I'm focused on. And it looks like I may have the opportunity for a 5K or two as the weather's starting to cool down. So things are going really well. I'm planning on a couple of long runs this weekend, hopefully one of them on the trail. One of them probably working on a progression run. So we'll see how things pan out. I'll be back with you guys next week. And here we are at the end of the month. As it turns out, I was not able to get out to the trail this weekend because I just had too many commitments that were keeping me in town, and just wasn't able to find any time to make it out there. But you know, it's okay. It is what it is. I got the runs done, and I'm about to have to take another easy week because I'm about to do about a week's worth of travel. So I'm not going to have time to fit any harder runs in, nor will I have a space available for me to just kind of run and get those runs done. So since I'm kind of taking a little vacation, I'm going to relax my mind as well and not worry so much about it. But this last week I have pushed myself harder than I have pushed lately, because a lot of my time has been spent either tapering for or recovering from races. So I've definitely pushed myself a little bit harder, and I need a little bit of time to recover, and that's fine. But I am enjoying the pushing myself and kind of feeling the results. As always, it's just like small incremental changes, but I think that they will add up when it's all said and done. So that gets us through the month of August. Where I'm headed next month is just some more of training, pushing myself a little bit more on speed and on strength to kind of see what I can accomplish before I head into some of my half marathons. So that wraps it up for these last few weeks. Let's take it back inside. And there you go. That's just a quick look back at what's going on during the month of August as far as training goes. As you can see, there's been a little bit more of a push on trying to get some speed. I did take things kind of easy for a while in order to kind of help taper things down for races and make sure that I recovered well from that. But then once I got back into regular training, there was definitely an uptick in the intensity of the workouts. And so my legs have been a little more sore than they usually are during a training phase, but I'm trying to also allow some time for recovery, and I'm just hoping things will kind of even out and that I'll come out of this stronger than I have been in the past. Now, I haven't been able to get as much strength and mobility as I would like to get in, just because with the beginning of the school year into the summer, things have been really tight schedule-wise. I'm hoping to kind of get things on a more even keel and get into a better routine, but I have been staying consistent with the running and with doing at least a little bit of strength and mobility every week. And so I do have that kind of going for me. So it's really better than nothing. And, you know, that it's at least something, and that gives me somewhere to build. So let's take a look back now at the month's races and medals. Now, I did have some actual IRL races this month, which were absolutely fun. The first one was, of course, the Death by 5K. I'm going to have a link down in the description in case you missed my video about that. The Death by 5K is where we ran a 5K on the Arkansas River Trail every 2.5 hours for 24 hours, and it added up to 50K. And it was really a test of endurance and just making sure that we could be at the starting line at the exact right time. But I made it all the way through. So here is the official Death by 5K shirt,
put on by the team at Run Strong. It was a wonderful race. If you watch the video, you'll see that I really did enjoy the experience, and I'm really hoping that they bring it back in Little Rock next year because I would definitely run it again. At the end of the race, in lieu of a medal, you get this right here, this nice little wooden coffin with the Death by 5K logo burned into it. So I think that this is something that's really interesting, as something very different from a medal, and it sits very nicely on top of my medal rack. So this is, I guess, what you would call medal number 1 for the month of August. My second race for the month was the Scorchin' Squirrel, held at the Ferncliff Camp in Little Rock. This is one that I ran last year as my first ever trail race, and so I came back to it this year, both times at the 11.5 mile distance. I actually managed to run it a little bit more quickly than I did last year, so definitely a step up. It's great, the difference that you can see in 1 year of training. This is one that, again, I think I will keep coming back to just because it's a beautiful and incredibly challenging course. It's got a nice sense of community behind it, and it's just really, really enjoyable. So this was the shirt that I got this year. They change up the design just a little bit every year, but that's the Ferncliff Scorchin' Squirrel. Again, one that I was really happy with. I may stick with the 11.5 mile distance just because that's one that I enjoy. I may step it up to the 15 mile next year. I don't know, just depends on how training goes over the course of the next year. And the final set of medals that I got for the month would be the San Francisco Half Marathon medals that I got. I ran it virtually since I wasn't able to get there in person this year. I did the first half of the marathon and did that with the app. It was great. I'm gonna have a link up here and down in the description where I did an entire unboxing video just about those medals. So if you'd like a really good look at them, then make sure that you click on one of those links and you can check those out for yourselves. They are absolutely beautiful. So let's move on to new gear and equipment. Now, the big one for the month would be this right here, and this is the BioLite 200 lumen headlamp that I put to the test during the Death by 5K since I had to do several overnight loops. And I actually have done an entire video where I give my opinion on this. Now, I've had one earlier. I'll have a link down in the description that just kind of gave my first impressions on first unboxing it and what I thought of it. But I'm going to have a video coming out later this week where I give a full review on how it works for me, some of the pros and cons of using it. So definitely check this one out. I'll have a link down below to the website if you would like to take a look for yourself. But stay tuned for that full review so that you can get my thoughts on this headlamp. And finally, let's take a look at what's going to be coming up on the channel. Now I'm going to be continuing, as usual, the Run the USA series where we take a look at the most recommended races in every state from 5K all the way up to ultra marathons, both road and trail. And so we're going to be taking a look at the state of Louisiana. So if you run any races in Louisiana, make sure that you let me know down in the comments below. I also have, since this is the Running Geek Girl channel, one of my big geek destinations for the entire year is to go to Dragon Con, which is a huge fan convention in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm going to be doing some videos about my experiences there because it is about a week that I'm there. I'm also going to be participating in the Geek Girls Run while I am there. So getting together with some other geeks to do a run around Centennial Park. So stay tuned and you're going to see some of my experiences, my geekiness, my cosplays, the panels that I go to, different people that I see, and of course the Geek Girls Run. So you're not going to want to miss any of that. And just as a reminder, I do have quite a few half marathons coming up in my quest to run a half marathon, at least in every single state in the US. So make sure that you are staying tuned because I'm going to have training and of course some race reports coming up. There are also quite a few 5Ks popping up in the area since the weather is starting to cool down and we are getting kind of more into the fall racing season. So I'm going to be doing some more IRL races and you're not going to want to miss any of my race reports on that. So make sure that you are watching so that you can see what's going on my race calendar. And one last thing, don't forget that every single month I have a new Spotify playlist for you to listen to, and that is going to be down in the description below. I have one for every month, and then I have a longer list that has every track that's been selected for every every month so far this year. I do have guest curators and different themes every month. Let's say maybe you have a shorter run or a shorter race coming up. Maybe you just want some new tunes to listen to. Then you can check out that Spotify playlist down below, and you have plenty to listen to. Also down below, you're going to find a link to the Welcome to the Geek Den playlist, and those are all tracks that are suggested by you, the members of the Geek Den. So if you have any tracks that you would like me to add to that list, make sure that you drop those down in the comments below. You can also give this video a big thumbs up. All of that helps us get out in front of more runners just like you. This is your second reminder that if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it keeps you up to date with all of my running adventures. You can also follow me on social media. All the links are down in the description. You can find me across all platforms under the name Running Geek Girl. Thanks so much for being here for another month. I'm so glad that you're running along with me. Remember to laugh hard, run fast, and be kind. See you guys later.